You want to survive longer on Die Maschine, but don't know where to train? Well, here are 5 of my favorite training spots on Die Maschine. The first, easiest, and most popular one is going to be the spawn room. This can be a large clockwise circle that encompasses the entire room. This area is very forgiving, so don't be afraid to improvise. The most dangerous areas I found is near the fence near the pink door that goes to Noct, as well as around the tank area. You can easily be cut off in those locations, so if you find yourself having trouble, don't be afraid to keep that pink door to Noct closed. This area is excellent for handling the Megaton. You don't really need to alter the strategy all too much, just pay a little bit more attention. And as I said, don't be afraid to improvise in and around the trees, or even making a smaller circle so it's a little bit faster, or bunching up the zombies a little bit easier. Do what you feel comfortable with here. A good shooting zone, I'm going to say, is in between the trees and the steps that the zombies just love to jump up against. Once you get to about in front of the crafting table, you know you need to stop shooting and then continue to train. The second training spot is in the crash site underneath the wing. This is a medium or small circle depending on how you run it, counterclockwise. This one can actually vary depending on your comfort level. You can just train under the wing, or you can train around the ring, or you can train around the ring and the teleporter and the rock area and expand it as big as you'd like. This is going to be a more intense and demanding area, but not too punishing, and there are also more escape routes if you get overwhelmed. You can use the teleporter, you can run to the pond area, you can run to the underground, wherever. My favorite escape route is actually using the plane wing, because that plane wing can also double as your shooting zone. You can stand up there and gather your horde and then just lay into it with whatever gun you have. Also, because this is a little bit closer condensed area, Shatter Blast at any point in time is awesome. But if I'm not on the wing itself, I usually use the narrow areas in between the wing and jug and the wing and the fence to shoot all the zombies. This does get intense with the Megaton, so when the Megaton does come around, you want to utilize a larger training area, going around the teleporters, maybe the rock, kind of just spacing out a little bit. The third training spot is still in the crash site, but it's going to be up top in that rocky area. This is one of my favorites. This is a small, cut back figure 8 type train. You basically want to loop between the high elevation areas, between the rock and those trees. If you need a little bit more space, don't be afraid to utilize the plane. This is pretty dangerous though, because the only escape routes you're going to get is on that plane side. So of course you can run across the plane over the crane, or use either side of the plane to exit. But keep in mind, that's where all the zombies are coming from too. This is a very small, very intense, and an excellent challenge area for those more experienced trainers. But if you're practicing and you do get cornered, a Frost Blast is going to be an excellent choice to get out of those situations. And when the Megaton comes around, I usually just leave. I usually don't try to fight him there. I usually go down to the previous training spot and just give a little bit more space to kill him there. Because this is very close quarter, Shatter Blast is going to be amazingly effective, nearly killing all of your horde. For everything else though, shooting zombies in between that middle section of your cutback, that center rock, that's where the zombies are going to be the most compact, and that's where you're going to get the most out of your bullets. Moving on to the fourth training spot, this is going to be the pond near the truck. I guess around the truck. This is going to be a medium counterclockwise circle train. This is not as intense as the previous training spot, but it is definitely more intense than most. Keep an eye on that wall/door area, and if you'd like, maybe a little bit better for time if you keep that closed. But it's not a deal breaker if it is open. You just got to be really paying attention to it, and also depth perception really helps out with seeing zombies that are gonna come around the corner. This place is actually not terrible for a Megaton. Since this is where the exfil takes place, I feel like I have a lot of practice kind of improvising within the pond itself. You can escape by going back further into the pond area near Quick Revive and the M16 wall bite, and kind of sift around those rocks when the Megaton comes around. And because we're circling around an object, that means that shooting zones are pretty plentiful, either going up or down the elevation, or around that choke point through the back of the truck. Those are excellent times to shoot zombies. And the fifth training spot is within the particle accelerator room. I classify this as a medium counterclockwise circle or a cutback circle. Most of the time I cut back through the front of the area near the crafting table and that wall by, but you can also do a full circle behind the stairs. But when you do so, just be very careful, because you can easily get cornered with the zombie spawn there, and it's just a narrow passageway, and this gets really intense. This whole train can get really intense intense, especially at the higher rounds. There are a lot of narrow passageways. Now, these narrow passageways can be very hit or miss. They can be great ways to escape and go around the zombies and feel really confident, but they could also be really great ways to get cornered and die. But if you stand in the back corner, this is actually a decent spot for a ring of fire where you can just sit down and kill all the zombies, which also is a great way of dealing with the megatons. But if you don't have ring of fire, the megatons are fairly intense, and I tend to go fully around the circle behind the stairs when megatons are present, just to buy me some time and figure out what I want to deal with first. I usually shoot the zombies as I cut back. When I go around the corner, I turn around, I shoot the zombies, and then that's also how I find my opening to cut back and continue the train further. And the sixth bonus training spot is a challenge spot. This one isn't really practical, but I tend to find myself in here just challenging myself and having a little bit of fun. This is going to be a very small counterclockwise circle in the weapons lab. Yeah, this gets insanely intense. It's not a great idea, maybe just early rounds, or if you want a fun challenge. Shatter Blast or Brain Rot help you deal with the enemies really quickly. You want to utilize your grenades and equipment, as you should be doing with all of these trains, honestly. Frost Blast is awesome, obviously, trying to get you out of those bad situations, and when the megaton spawns in, good luck and have fun with the chaos. You can escape, drop down to that underground area that kind of confuses the AI, makes them slow down a little bit, and you can take that time to either jump back up and run through the doors, either going through the main way or to the particle accelerator room. But if you want to look at more training spots, check out this video where I go through all of the training spots on Mauer der Toten. Check it out there, and stay beautiful.